Excel.
One of these.
I'm sorry, I have an Excel spreadsheet.
Now we gotta figure out how to get rid of it.
Oh,
so we actually have things.
That's my, did that get sent to you?
Oh.
My goal is.
The podium is not in the picture.
Okay.
So do we want to move, if you move it over here, it would be.
Different tab on the bottom of
Um,
everything.
I
Okay,
have
so you
for
have
you.
what came in for the month, what went out for the month, and
Yeah.
what the balances of the whole account.
Oh, awesome.
That's
So,
the
and then I'll
account.
just ship that to
What we
you
have
prior
left.
to your board meeting,
Okay,
and that way you
That's just-
always know.
your town supervisor, maintenance,
And
is that
then you can let me know what I missed, or what I
Yeah.
did wrong, like maybe I.
So
are we gonna get one more?
a, okay,
For
so
that.
what do we call it, chief
And then
bottle
you
washer?
have yours left
Okay,
to stack.
sure, yeah, that's what I use.
Is this something I gave you the other day?
Oh, your second.
Yeah, because you didn't know what it was.
Isn't that what it
Yeah,
feels
that
like though
went through
sometimes?
I figured you have.
I did. I tell you, I'm like super good, but I have him at least until July.
Well, it's basically that little cell is a template. Yeah.
But yes, I have him at least till
I got one.
July.
So we'll get this all worked out.
You have a chance to see. There you go.
Is this for the bond
For our grant,
or the
yes.
grant, what we have
Yeah,
left?
that's what we
Did you make a copy? for
turned in,
everybody?
what we received back,
This is what
Our
we've paid so
total.
far.
and down here at the bottom is what we have.
But you're gonna talk about this, right?
Yeah, because I have some suggestions on where we should go.
Okay, well, I have a suggestion too. My grandson wants a timer. He's gonna send you an email.
He wants a what? Oh, a clock,
A timer.
timer.
So when he does his obstacle course, he can time himself. Don't look at me like I'm foreign, people.
That's fine, I'll just,
Are you good with these things?
In those days, we just looked at our watch, okay, we're going.
Use that this thing,
Oh, sorry,
use that
that's
this
what,
thing,
I'm sorry.
right? You click your timer and then
Yeah.
hit that.
Hello.
Hi,
these are my,
Dandy.
you haven't seen my name, okay.
Well, they can, it is.
That was an auto value. Oh, I clicked on that.
Is it?
What, I just have the question
I
about
got
the
one, really.
That's fine. Why is it? Is there a reason why the date's like in the future?
Oh, yes, it's the way she ran it.
Okay. So this is what's been so
It's
far.
current to date.
Okay,
She
I'm
just-
looking at it going, this is in the future, you know?
Right, no, she just ran it to month's end and it's.
Gotcha.
So it's
Alright,
actually current to like the 31st,
okay.
which is far better than we've been in a long time.
Alright.
And FYI, for anybody that doesn't already know, the spring is open.
You know, I saw it on, Facebook,
No.
Okay.
They have little
and
kids.
someone said the ice is thin.
Boy. Yeah, Thursday.
I mean, I guess not.
That was my, remember when, get some time.
Sure, that's everything.
Happy that
Half inch of water out there and let it freeze, it
we, right,
build it up.
right, and Tom and I came in
Did you want,
all weekend long.
an agenda? Do you not care what you're doing or what?
There's one on the
You are.
We,
Can I just pull those bills out to know which two were questioning?
Yeah, the roaster.
Down at pull up on my computer.
Scott will be at the airport Thursday
Perfect, thank
for
you.
that, and I've got a couple other calls out waiting to hear back. So.
Great, thanks.
It was, auto keep.
Busy though. I'm sorry. Just, you could go on, it's just, yeah, that's irritating.
I'm gonna give them, is it okay if I
But
give
yeah,
them
we
to
do
you
well,
right now?
yeah. That's fine. But, how about you?
Yeah, it was good.
We're, same bill, like 2 minutes apart, is that kosher?
Was it safe? Sometimes if you're sick, it'll drive you.
Started when she said. And then
Don't take the bills home.
went to the emergency room Saturday.
Yeah.
So this time it was.
Wow.
But usually they're-
Yeah. Oh, he was texting too.
Ellen, there's a, agenda if we'd like.
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
He's the one.
Yeah.
So they're working on.
I used to be a nurse.
Wow, that's a song.
No.
Ellen, we're gonna keep you here for hours, days, nights.
Yeah. So I felt
I
last
mean, it's not
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
a terrific amount of money, but it all adds up.
Yes.
Oh, no, it does. And I don't. Yeah, I'll take it and talk to you about it because
It's, yeah, because it was like 3 minutes apart,
and they're two separate invoices.
right, and, but the exact same things,
Mhm.
just in a different order.
Right, and two different salesmen.
Oh, I didn't even notice that part. Okay, good for you. I noticed, I even noticed the time.
Yeah, Dave and Matt Scaraboo.
So you're gonna take those?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't say that, but it's like, yeah, it's double,
It's
that up. Yeah.
Boy, and they're going through a lot out there with this.
Yeah, no,
It's,
everybody, I'm
An
perfectly
adventure.
fine with, you know, same.
It's just CarQuest sold that part. Oh, they did auto value, they still have the number.
Okay, it's 6:00. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I will take roll call. Beth is here, Stacy,
Here.
Gail.
Yep.
Pat
Here.
and Andrew.
Here.
And on the end is Doug. Any public comment on the agenda? Approval of the agenda, motion by
I'll make a motion.
Who did that?
Stacy, sorry. Sorry. Pat.
Stacy with an E.
Gail, second. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, bills, motion to pay the bills by. Anybody
I'll make a motion.
Pat? Okay, before we go any farther, we are removing 2 of them. And I also removed one other one because the treasurer cannot explain it to me. So she's gonna get a better clearing on that, so that'll be back probably next month. Anybody like to second it?
Stacy will second.
Stacy, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, approval of last month's minutes. And there's 2 sets of minutes. One is for the commission and one is for the workshop.
I cannot.
You cannot because
I
you
make a
didn't.
motion to approve the
Okay.
minutes.
So we got Gail, and I can't do anything, right, other than talk.
Okay, I'll second. Stacy will second.
Stacy,
It's up to us. It's just us.
all approved?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Okay, at this point, we need to, make a motion to elect a treasurer. And, seeing that Stacy's the only one without a job. Anybody like to make a motion for Stacy to be our treasurer?
I'll make a motion to stick Stacy with that.
I'll second. We're very happy about that.
That is Gail. All in favor?
I
Aye.
take it you're okay with that?
Thank you.
Let's hope so.
Okay, now, Doug, can you give us any updates on the grant that you just passed out some lovely papers for?
Yes, I did, and
What can I look at now?
it accounts, it shows everything that we've submitted, everything that we've received back. And at the bottom, we have $10,620 yet to use.
Now, can I back you up a little
Yes.
bit? We just received, the check from Sheboygan on 12/03/24 for $14,248.96, which is that figure down here. So we will be getting one more lump sum from somebody?
I believe we should be receiving we don't receive, the township
Well,
receives
yeah.
the reimbursement, but, $25,606.51
Okay.
has already been put in for.
Oh, we've already submitted
That's
everything,
been
we're just waiting
submitted.
for the
These
check
are
to
the
come in.
draws that have went in, and she's got 1 through 5 there. And then she calculated it all up to, so far spent is $89,380.89. So that leaves the balance of 10,620.
Okay, and this is for Cooperation Park
Cooperation
only?
Park only. We cannot move outside of Cooperation Park. They are giving us latitude on things to use it. One of my suggestions is we could get scoreboards to replace bad ones in fields that don't have them. There's a bunch of different options. If you go with just a plain Jane scoreboard with balls and strikes on it, 4 foot by 8 foot, you're looking at about 3,300. If you
Now,
want to,
did we not already just replace some of those? Or
no, they purchased, between Little League, the school, put together, got private donors, and they put a massive scoreboard on the girls' softball.
Oh, okay.
For the
The new
school.
fields. To the tune of about $20,000.
Okay.
Which was
Columbus.
very much overkill, in my opinion. It was unnecessary. But anyway, for that, we could have put a new scoreboard on every field that does what it needs to do.
Okay.
I have different options. There's a 15-foot by 5 foot, that's $5,495 for that one. And basically, the only thing that you get is more distance between the numbers when you're looking at it.
Do we know how many really need to be replaced?
We could use
3?
3.
So that would pretty much take care of, if you do the 3,000?
You could get all 3. The one that I did like better, and watching with one of the coaches, we could go down to just 2 boards, but and have to pitch in a little bit, but that would be better. It's $5,495. It's 9 by 6, but it has ball strikes and also pitch count.
Who needs a pitch count?
Everybody.
Other than the pitcher.
Well, you only need
No,
pitch
no.
count in baseball.
Correct,
Softball doesn't use pitch.
correct, and we're putting these on baseball.
But usually,
Someone
that's
is
someone
keeping it.
keeping it.
But as a fan and even as the coach, you could look out and see where you're at. If your ace is on the mound and he's pitching, and I'm on the opposing team, I'm going, okay, he's got 3 more pitches and he's out of here. So it just helped. I mean, when
I know, but we're talking Little League and high
in
school.
high school and travel league.
And high school, these boards aren't going on the high school field, right? For our-
They would be on our J, 2 of them would be on the JV fields.
So 2 would be on JV fields.
Okay, is that a decision we have to make today, or
No,
can
no,
we
there's
think
some
about it,
they've
something
got-
to
I
think
mean,
about
I'm
How
it?
not
much
sure
more
else
did
might
this,
be.
I'm sorry, did you say that's more for the ones that have?
With the pitch count, it is, yeah, it's 2,000 more.
Can I just, I get what you're saying,
Right.
being somebody who has run the scoreboards before. that's a lot to have to keep track of. Pitch count by itself, I have done that for Little League during All-Stars. And that in itself, when you got just that clicker, is a job in itself. If you're running the scoreboard and adding that to it, I just personally think you're asking for mistakes because you have to focus on the balls and the strikes and then try to focus on pitch count also. Just my thought.
Do you have pitch counts up there now?
No, we have none
We
of
have
these.
little at least for All-Stars, you have little clickers that each time you just click it.
Yeah.
But again, even, I just know from doing it, it can be very,
Right, and
you're at,
I mean, the 4x8's fine.
I think that's
fine by me.
sufficient,
You
and
can
that's
look
what we
up
have
and see
money
what the
for.
score is.
We don't have money for extra, so.
And then the other thought is that high school and little league use them. So why don't they?
Contribute
contribute to it.
or what?
They've sought it to buy a $20,000 scoreboard rather than to take care of other.
But it's done.
Right, I'm thinking, I don't know if we want to look at maybe converting the skate park into basketball area. We could do that by putting up some poles and some, which is another thing that everybody's screaming for. And to be honest, the skate park does not get used.
It doesn't get used.
Not compared to what a basketball facility would be used. And for that matter, we could move the skate park apparatuses out to the front and they would be fine to go out there.
So basically just switch.
Yep, just swap and put skate park in front and basketball in the back.
And how much does that cost to?
I haven't looked into it, but we'd be getting pole,
Yeah.
the poles, the back points and stuff. We could do it through.
How bad are the scoreboards that are on these three fields?
One is non-existent, it's never had one, and one does not work at all. Everything is burned out on it, and the other one is depending on the day. But also the scoreboard that depends on the day, I found the controller for that in a mouse nest inside of the shed thrown in a corner.
It's always good.
At the end, I tried to get all the scoreboards returned, or the
Yeah.
controllers returned to me.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that I don't let out of my sight. So. I
How
have a
long
hard
does
time.
it take to
I
get
brought
those scoreboards?
scoreboards up because it's been brought to me that we should do something about that, and I have a hard time with it when they don't care for what we give them.
Who brought it up that they needed it?
The league, the coaches, we need scoreboards. Like,
I think they need to come to the Parks Commission meeting and
Yeah,
argue
petition
their
it,
position.
yeah, and ask,
mhm.
I mean, ask and you may receive, but
Well,
to
I'm
send
just
Doug,
wondering if they could pony up a half and half
I was like asking you maybe
between
pay
Little
for
League
part of it.
and the school, which I know, I mean,
If we
maybe
could-
they're wanting to.
we could do one and they could do one,
What
something like that.
they're
For
after
3,000.
right now is another $20,000 scoreboard. That's
Well,
what they're looking for.
That's,
Then they can pay for it.
good luck.
Because now the boys are,
Well, I mean, we could pay for two, and they could pay
But-
for the one that they want. I mean, but
and the one that they want to replace isn't even one of the ones that got.
Oh, wow. No, if we're gonna do that, we want,
well, if they're working, we shouldn't be replacing them.
right,
If it's not broke, don't fix it. But I agree, I think they should come to a parks meeting and we can have a
If
make
discussion.
a
if they want
make a
input.
presentation,
If they
to
want
what they,
input.
if they want something. I don't think we should do the legwork.
So basically, both those options could take the 10,000, the remaining
The
10,000.
basketball would not.
It wouldn't take that much,
Right, it
right?
wouldn't
So we
take
could
that
almost do a board or two and do the basketball.
Yes, probably. You could get like two.
And then they
boards in
could pony up for
there.
one
Yeah, if you did.
if they wanted to.
Mhm.
It sounds like doable.
I don't
I
think
think-
a $20,000 one.
No, I think
Even if
we
we
would
add it.
stay with the smaller
3,000,
one.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I
most
still
of us
have
have to
to-
wear glasses anyway when we watch our kids.
I still have to call up the school to make sure that they will give us that. Scoreboards were not mentioned anywhere in the grant.
Okay, so,
I don't know if I'll.
But it is contained in a field, so that's kind of
Yes, we've
loosely.
been upgrading ball fields. They've been kind of letting us
Okay,
So you will
Somebody
check
will.
on that, Doug?
And suggest to them that they come before the commission.
Yes,
To the Little League, yes.
yes, for sure.
I like the skate park idea though, I do too. Because then we could get that basketball.
The basketball
Right away.
has been a hot,
You know,
But
everybody
it's a long
plays
time.
it,
Gets you a
olders,
lot.
youngers,
yeah,
families.
and we keep running into that 50,000 to redo the whole
Yeah,
surface, so.
so that surface out by the skate park is pretty good right now.
Yeah, it's far better than the one at the basketball.
It's a good use for that if it's not being used, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For a good deal, for a good amount of money
Right.
being using
Yeah, using. what we
money
got,
in
just
a
moving it
responsible
around.
way, we
Yeah.
could do it that way, yeah. Okay,
Okay, so we're gonna table that for now,
Yep,
and then you'll, at the next meeting, give us more information. If they really want a scoreboard, let them come talk to us.
Okay.
Okay? All right, number 8, the new contract for parks rental for both residential and commercial. I just received back from the lawyer his corrections and that, and basically what we typed is pretty much good. He did make a few changes, or, I mean, you could see, but, I don't know if we're ready to make a motion to implement this, or, anybody have any questions on it? Or
I think we need to look at his corrections and see if we have anything, or we
Yeah.
make a motion.
Get it done.
Okay. All right, I will get that email to you guys, within the next few days. I do not have a last copy, we're still trying to figure out how to print it. So, but, other than that, and they were very small, corrections, but as I was going over this, Gail and I, number 19, I think we're going to delete that one. If you read it, commercial use of township park is not permitted. Well, this is a commercial thing, so
It's a
that doesn't make a lot of
commercial, yeah.
sense. Yeah. So, unless we can word that a different way.
Unapproved commercial, but I think that was just an oversight when we were looking.
It was in the prior
Right,
one, so it
yeah,
just
it's
needs
just
to
an
say,
So I say.
it needs to say without
Or
prior.
if we need to make an
Wait.
amendment,
Oh, it's 18.
Oh, 18,
what
okay.
did I say?
No, it's
19.
19 on the
No.
commercial,
19 is on
19.
commercial vehicles, this one. Are you on the uncommercial?
Oh, yeah, this is.
Well, then why would it have a commercial vehicles?
That's not.
You should have a commercial and you should have a non-commercial.
The non-commercial one should say commercial use.
Or we can make an
I
amendment
see.
as we see fit for that one, if we get somebody who comes in and wants to use it for something, you know, I don't know what, but we can make an amendment as needed.
I think if we just, like on 19, and I think it also would apply to 20, is commercial use of township parks not permitted without prior approval.
I agree with that also, without prior
Because
approval.
if you go down to 20,
Yes,
Um,
20
They're
is,
kind of the same thing.
same
Yeah.
thing
yeah. So we could just add that with
prior approval,
prior approval.
without.
Yeah.
Prior approval. So this needs to say without prior approval. And then
On both-
number 23, I don't know if we need that there.
We
Yes.
wanted, Doug said it would be nice to have that there just
You're
for
okay with
ease
your
of
number and
things.
everything being there?
He's the one that told us.
He's the one
Oh,
who
Doug,
told
did
us
you
to
want
put
a
it there.
copy?
Okay.
That's where we put your contact information for if more information is needed. He wanted it there because
Yeah,
it's
but
just
it's-
ease of.
Okay.
it's easy to,
But do you want some of the responsibility taken away from you? I mean, not taken away, but I just feel like everybody piles on you. Doug,
Well, okay,
Doug,
that's-
He's got
see
big
that,
shoulders.
but also, if they contact you have a question for you. Who are you gonna contact?
You.
Right to know.
Yeah,
So
why don't
why
you
not
cut out the middleman?
okay,
right.
And
I'm fine with that.
I'm
I'm just
just saying, it's-
asking,
either way, I'm getting a phone call.
I'm
So-
just asking you.
Maybe two. Because you didn't get the right answer the first time.
Okay.
Alright,
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I will, send you guys from the attorney his revised copies probably tomorrow. And then you guys can relook at them and then hopefully next month we can send this through and we're done with our rental agreement. Okay? That sound good? Okay, so we're not gonna motion to approve it yet, because we're not ready. Nothing on Moran, I haven't heard anything. Andrew, do you have any updates? Any of your little kids have any suggestions?
Community garden,
Oh,
that was talked about, most people don't really have room for it in their backyard or anything, but they wanna eat healthy. So that was one of the suggestions, mainly the only suggestion, actually, nobody else really answered.
okay,
So
Okay.
I do too.
maybe with that money, we could work on that. I know there's a lot of grants for community gardens as well, because that's a big thing.
Right now.
But at co-op, that would be maybe a good,
All right. Oh, that's what went into my mind.
right,
But he's trying to get all
Okay, that sounds good. Do you want to go over to Cooperation Park and see if you see an area that you think would, or does somebody,
I can,
you wanna do it?
Yeah. sure.
Okay, you're free time.
and probably the best person. Doug.
Let me know when you're.
Yeah, Doug is probably the best
when we
person.
walk around, 'cause I'll know more of where water could be. and-
Right. That's the big thing, is getting water to it
Correct.
for
Yeah,
irrigation, but
Mhm.
All
And
right,
there's some good options for that.
okay, number 11, beach wall, did you wanna have a comment on it? Doug? You told me to put it on.
We gotta get to it. We gotta figure out how we're gonna do it.
Okay, I have a
Either
question.
it all has to come down, or we need to figure out how we're gonna do it.
Can I ask a question? How long has this brick wall been up?
there's the brick wall
Is
at
that
the
the one
beach.
in between the parking and the?
Yeah, the one
beach?
along the,
Well, it hasn't been forever, I can tell you that, because it wasn't.
no,
when
I
was a
would
kid.
say it's like 10, 11 years.
At least, yeah.
10 years? Okay, so my question is, and I know you're not gonna be super thrilled. Can we have all the bricks.
Mhm.
Can we tear it all down and redo it? But not, I know we need footers, but right now we can't. We don't have the money for the footers and all that stuff. Can we put it back up and maybe do another 10 years with it? Or,
You, in this case, you're throwing good money after bad.
okay,
I mean, it's, a lot of it is caused by the receding water,
okay,
exposing more beach, which brought more sand back, which caused erosion underneath the wall. It's separating, you'd have to take the entire thing down, scrape every brick off the glue that was on it,
Oh,
totally put it back up. You're talking weeks of labor
okay.
to go into it, and when you're done, you have something that you know is going to be bad.
What's the function of it,
It keeps the
besides
sand out
keeping the
of the
sand
ground.
up?
That's all, but that is major.
It is major. I can remember before the wall went up, we had virtually no grass because the sand came in there and it just destroyed it.
If you don't walk along there and you look at everywhere there's an opening to go through, you will see that the bank is, the grass is that much higher.
We just went over there
Just
before.
We went over there and
where it
looked. The problem is no matter what you put there, does the water reach that?
No,
The wind blows the sand.
the wind blows the sand across there, and, if it were on a footing, it wouldn't have been, never would have been an issue. being that it was on gravel, that is a living sand dune. Any beach is a living sand
Right.
dune, and what do sand dunes do? They
And
move.
shift.
Yeah, they ebb and flow.
Right, so if you have gravel under there, that's why that wall, when you look down, it goes up and down. And as that moves, it's just going to eventually pop. And that's what it did. But if you went in and you put in a good concrete footing for it to sit on, then it will stay there. Or you pour a concrete wall under it too. Which would be on a fitting footing too, but. So there's not a cheap answer to it.
And what did you say to replace, what was the figure?
And about 80 was the price that I was given to
80,000?
redo it.
Or $80?
Don't you wish?
It's been $80, I got
The way it
You
is.
cover it?
I
To
could,
take
I'll help
it, to take it out, put in a footing, put it back on.
And that's with new bricks or the same bricks?
That would be with the same bricks, and I was gonna have my guys clean the bricks.
Wow.
Yes. Well, because it's.
You would need a grant for that.
Yeah, every day.
Is
that
there
you
a
work
way
on
we
it
can
is-
tie in a grant for the bathrooms and that? We can, no, probably not.
They didn't go together. We tried that.
When I called DNR, she did not recommend us to put that together. She said that is because we're not building a wall, we're repairing a wall. So we'd have to find more or less a repair grant versus a new
Build.
grant.
Which
Unless we
is-
started from scratch and we decided not to use the old bricks and this is all gonna be all brand new, which is a lot of wasted stuff.
Is there another option other than those bricks? Because I'm just worried that those are gonna still fall.
Yeah,
After time.
a poured wall, a poured concrete wall. I mean, there's nothing that I can think that would be any, it's either gonna be rock or concrete to be permanent enough to take, it's gotta be able to withstand people standing on it, climbing on it, sitting on it.
Whatever you went with, you'd still have to do the footings.
Yes, whatever, it's gotta be on a footing.
And that's what's gonna
And that's
cost the
the
most.
major amount of the thing,
The
is the footings.
But to, yeah,
By the time you dig that all out, form it, for it,
well, right now it's a moot point because we don't have that money, so. I mean, we can look forward to doing
Yeah, I
something
mean,
with
we'll
it,
keep
but
looking,
we don't have the money to do that now, but
I
we can
don't-
look for
I
a
Put it
grant
on
to
the
do that.
CIP.
yeah,
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 A
it
big
would have to
wish.
go on the CIP,
all right.
our wish list.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for the good news.
all right, Mr. New Business. And we have, it's Ron, right?
Ron.
Rob?
Yeah.
R-O-B,
Probably correct.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm gonna, if you could go up to the podium, I greatly appreciate it. I am going to start with the questions that you had gone to our supervisor, Trudy Mays.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna try to answer a few of those
Perfect.
before you give your spill. Okay, the banners,
Yes.
we have nothing to do with those poles, so you will have to go to the DDA and talk to them about if they're available, when, where, and why. Okay? You wanted to reserve the Marina Park from June 25th through the 29th.
Correct.
Is that correct? I was under the impression, and I was not on this board last year, but I thought your flags said 3 weeks. Because that is a tough weekend for us, because you're running into, excuse me, you're running into our
4th of July week.
4th of July weekends with the auto people off and all, excuse me, auto people off and all that. So we're having a little rough time with those dates. Is there any way you can move it back?
I mean,
To the week before.
The week before is, oh gosh,
No, that's,
No, that's 2 weeks before.
no, that's 2 weeks
That's
before.
what today, third weekend.
Cause I thought you tied your tent in with Old Fashioned Week.
We did because mine has always been the fourth Saturday in June and Old Fashioned Days got created last year as the third Saturday.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And it just so happens the way the calendar works this year that the fourth Saturday in June now approaches near the Fourth of July.
Yeah, and that's
Historically,
really
it
tough for us.
Yeah, but the problem is that is a busy, busy week. And people are putting boats in that weekend that you wanna do your thing. They're putting boats in and staying all week long.
I guess, yeah, our biggest concern, one, is it's gonna take away from your parking space in Marina Park as well, because we can't rope off the boat launch or anything, because.
Never have I wanted
Right,
that.
right, we're going into Fourth of July weekend, are we cutting you short by having other boats being put in? Because there's already almost no parking down there on a normal weekend in the summer, let alone the weekend before the Fourth of July.
How, can I ask how many boats you have in that participate in this
Last year was 97.
97?
And last year was 40 separate rooms or cabins plus individual things that all of those. When this started, I worked with all the local residential cabins on finding the term the shoulder season to finding the least occupancy cabin rental weekend, and that's the weekend we chose. And that's why it was the fourth Saturday, and it went from the least occupancy to the fullest occupancy in 2 years. Now everybody that's participated has already locked their cabins in advance. And so, I mean, that's why we didn't choose a date, we chose fourth Saturday. That's also why the Old Fashioned Days chose third Saturday.
So, are you butting your tent with theirs again?
That discussion has not happened currently.
Because I understand last year that you got a little upset that, people use the tent,
On Sunday,
but had you reserved it?
100%.
But you only paid for 2 days last year, am I correct?
I guess, I don't know how that works. I
Yeah,
put the dates in and
If you
and
pull the old contract, you only paid for 2 days and you used it, I think, 3 or 4, I can't.
Because in the past, it was always one fee, and it was put the dates in. That's how I was told. It was never a daily fee in the past.
Yeah.
If that's changed, I understand. but-
Unfortunately, it is changing.
Okay.
Because, and I know, you had donated to the fireworks and you did this and that, which is great, but that didn't help, and not at your fault. It didn't help the Parks Commission.
So, pure observation from my perspective, the struggle I have working with this community is it's never, we gotta go here for this, we gotta go here for this, and then nobody ever communicates.
Exactly, you're 100% correct.
And
And,
that's it. So I have always tried to do what people tell me,
yeah, it's,
and then when I'm told I didn't do it right,
in the future,
It wasn't you. You were steered a little wrong,
in the future, anything
possibly.
that pertains to the parks, please come ask the parks.
and Doug and I have worked the last 2 years on that, in that regard.
Last year, I never saw anything come through on a parks thing. And it's not your fault. It was signed by a person who was not able to sign it. The agreement was made separate from this board. And as far as dealing with me, I'm a great guy to talk to. I can guide you in the right direction and everything. But it is inevitably their decision as to what happens.
So I totally
So
understand.
we're trying to make it
So,
glad for you, so that it doesn't change from year to year to year,
and
because we understand that.
And have any of you participated and or driven by or even seen?
I'm not hearing your.
Have you ever driven by or even seen the Blaine Thunder event over on Lake Charlotte?
Oh, no.
So that's the long-term goal for this. That's why we picked a shoulder weekend. We picked pontoon boats because it's family only. It's not go fast, loud,
So
noisy,
you can only be in your thing if you have a pontoon boat.
period.
Try to, correct.
Well,
That-
it's called a tri-tune, but pontoons are accepted,
Doesn't have to be
absolutely.
a
But,
pontoon.
but a loud, go fast,
Not a
absolutely not.
speedboat, not a.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, that's not the issue here. The issue is just that that weekend is gonna be such a hard, I mean, basically, we fill up that weekend.
Currently, it's full with my people already because they've already booked, they booked a year in advance. They booked before they leave now.
Well, we're not talking people that are coming in, we're talking about our local people.
And that's
Yes.
fine. I guess the only thing I will say is if I move it this year, I'm moving it forever. And it won't be here.
Yeah, that's what the other gentleman told me to do.
The,
That called me.
issue, a lot of it that they're having with Fourth is parking at Lone Range Park. There's another option that you could direct your people, because it would be simpler for you to direct than us to direct the public at large, but there is also parking along the backside of Club Road, the backside of town, along Club.
Club
Wait,
Road, are you talking?
But you gotta remember, my trailer and truck parking is not that elaborate because everybody rents houses or places. They put their boat, they come up here on Thursdays, put their boats in. They
Do they
don't,
take their boats out?
not until Sunday late afternoon. They're here for it's a weekend event that they come to. So it's not, I guess one of the points that I make, it's not a fishing tournament. I live in Gaylord, I recreate here every weekend.
Mhm.
The biggest nightmare I deal with is fishing tournaments.
Oh, trust me, so us too.
Yeah.
We get nothing out of it.
So I know I can say without question that my event does not cause ruckus on the launch ramp anywhere close to the fishing tournament. So, I mean, my people might launch on Thursday and then the truck and trailers go on and you might see them again Sunday afternoon. But they don't, it's not a big clog up,
They don't park there?
I can't say all of them don't, but I can,
Well, approximately, how many are you saying?
5 to 7 last year.
Oh, that was all?
97.
Well, I'm looking. And this year's just screwed us up, basically. If you go into even 2032, it never butts up against Fourth of July
Exactly.
weekend. But this year, it does.
It's just a weird fluky,
So
and that's why we
maybe
chose
we
this one.
have to make maybe this year we need to make a few changes. I mean, I don't know what else to do because does anybody have any
Well, if
input?
you start with 5 to 7 boats and trailers in there, it's not going to affect your whole parking.
Right.
If that's what happens, you know, and how are we gonna know?
But you know what, if it doesn't, I mean, I'm seeing.
We don't
this
wanna
side, our
lose
side.
you.
We're not trying to be difficult. It's just that we're trying to make sure that the people that come up here every year for Fourth of July, they come up the weekend before, the weekend after, they come up all week. And now, while I know they're full, those cabins would have been rented already, probably by people that would have been up here in the Fourth. So now those people aren't gonna have that, and maybe next year we lose them now. So, and into 2030, we are gonna lose them,
But
because,
My
so
opinion
it's,
is-
it
But
is
if
an
I,
issue.
but if I move it, you'll also lose them
Yeah.
forever on the fourth Saturday. Cause I have another town that wants it desperately bad.
Well, then maybe we need to make some concessions going into this. Maybe,
Do you think if we did do that weekend, do you think you could direct the people to park, to the best of your ability to park on Club Road if they are?
100%, no problem. However, I
Club
also
Road.
need a huge help directing the collision I've had the last 2 years with commercial bike, people that are right in the center of mine. And then also,
Commercial
Graduation.
flight.
yeah, there's a,
Yeah,
there's a
they
commercial,
come in unannounced and,
will not move,
yeah,
they're in
they,
the middle of everything.
What do they do? What is it?
Bicycles?
What do you
bicycle,
mean?
yeah,
You
they're
want
turning,
bicycle, you
yeah.
want us to,
We cannot control it,
we can't
because they are
control
on
the path.
state,
To my point, but the
Straight
problem is they
trailhead.
come in and park right in front of the tent, in front of all the boats, 2 years in a row, and obstructed everything. So his ask, I can 100% try to do.
The thing is, we can't do that, like,
well,
that's state
it's,
land.
I mean, if they're setting
I
up
guess.
something on our property, we can do that. I was totally unaware of that. We can go down and tell them, you have to move
And
this
the
way,
first year
that
I tried
way.
to be nice, you have all of this parking area,
Mhm.
and you're about to ride bicycles on the gravel parkway. Can you at least go down there? Nope. Same thing
Well,
happened again this year.
Mhm.
The other thing I've noticed with them, and I've photographed it a couple times, is they do not try to compress the area they take. They take a lot. They like to spread out.
It's a huge,
But if they
Where-
don't
where
rent
are
the
we talking
space,
about though?
Yeah,
Like,
where
where
are
are
they
we
doing
right
this?
in front of my tent at Marina Park.
Okay,
Upper
where's your
Marine.
tent? Because
Yeah.
I'm,
Is it next to the,
Attached to the pavilion.
to the pavilion, yes. So right, so where your park, your parking spaces are here, and then your tent's that way, right?
So your,
parking spot.
your analogy would be vehicle parking spaces, not
Yes.
overflow boat. trailer
Right.
no, no,
parking
just the
spaces.
vehicle.
Vehicle parking spaces is kind of, you pull straight down, and sorry, I don't know the names of the road, but you pull it straight down the road that would be parallel to this one, right behind
Right out
the
the
310
car.
station.
Cover 'em.
Yeah, so you pull right down and you go straight in, the pavilion will be ahead of you. Directly adjacent to the pavilion is the tent coming back towards you.
Right,
We do
next
a
to
big
310.
display of boats around that tent. And this is where the bicycle people insist on being.
well, if they don't rent the spot, then they have no legal right to be there.
Yeah, but
Well,
they are the
Judy's
least,
shaking her head,
they are the
that's not right.
least,
That's the trailhead.
But can I,
What are the trailhead
Is the
boundaries,
trailhead-
do we know?
the, gravel park or is the trailhead,
The grass coming in.
the grass coming in?
If you come down Straits Highway and turn into that parking, the paved parking area to the
Is the
south
trail.
of the Chamber of Commerce.
Where the
building,
totem is.
Yes, I believe that's considered the trailhead, where the kiosk is with the maps,
Okay.
the
Mhm.
drinking fountain. So that is considered public parking in that paved parking area, where you wanna put the trailers with the motors at the two closest. You can't prevent people from parking in that parking lot.
but that's not where these 2 years in a row now, unless it changed, that's not where they're going.
Are they on the other side of the trail?
They're
On your side
They're
of the-
right where all the poles that you and I removed last year.
Okay, that is our property.
So
That
is
basically
not trail.
between the tent and the trail.
And you know where the dumpsters at 310 Station has down there on Club Road? It's right there, and it's in the middle of everything. And the only reason I went for Sunday is because there's 6 marinas that have to come in that pull all their display out of there. And they show up to try to pull their display out, and here's 70 bicycles and 2 vans, and probably the rudest group
Can you
we
just
know
point
ever.
to me where you're trying to, here's Marina Park, this is,
Okay, so our tent goes right here,
okay,
like this, and all of this issue is right. So this becomes display space in here for boats, and this is right here.
okay, so that part is our property. It's he's referring to the unpaved part, right? So you turn into Marina Park's overflow.
Yeah, I know where everybody's at.
Is
And
this
it's
a,
straight-
is this
straight
a, is this a trailhead?
This is the trailhead, this is
Okay.
not, this is where the problem is.
Okay.
Trail property ends
And that's what they,
at the blue markers,
So then that would be a
which are
police
inside the
situation.
pavilion.
Yeah, somebody's gotta,
That would be a police situation.
Yes, that would be
not
almost,
with us.
that would be county road right away, actually, probably. I mean, that's what we're
So
getting
this is
into
where
in
you're
that.
talking.
is that our property though?
Well, I'm just wondering if that's our property, then that's rented, considering rented if he rents that part. Marina,
Correct, but up to those poles is a questionable, I mean, they park.
Yeah, but you gotta turn
restaurant.
before the poles to go down to your overload, so I would assume that's yours, right?
Down below is, yes.
And you gotta,
But-
so even where you turn to go before the poles would be yours, wouldn't it?
There again, it's because it's still paved out the road, they plow in there, I don't.
It's not paved, but I
Right.
understand it might
But
be.
I mean, the county, how it works, whose is what, I don't know whose it is, but I'm sure that the police could go down there and just say, please move from there, and they would. There's no reason they can't park further down the trail. when
Well,
there's an
it's not
event
even
going
further
on.
down the trail, just go down into your overflow parking lot, that off to the right over, it would be completely out of the way, cause it's guys getting on bicycles and it's literally another 100-yard ride.
He can't go down there though, because you can't park in there if you're not parking a boat trailer.
Right.
I mean, that is, because again, that's the DNR has mandated that we have overflow parking for that ramp that they paid for. So, where it's a really bad situation, and the biggest thing, to get them out of there, we're gonna have to talk to the chief of police and see if it's
When
something.
do they
he
come
can
through?
do.
Every weekend? Or is it just that weekend?
It's hard to track when they come through because they come through with no prior notice.
I've been unaware of it all.
And
along, so-
historically, it's been the past 2 years in a row on that Sunday.
I'm not,
And it's always from about 10 a.m. to 1.
okay.
Actually, I see them getting there at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
That would be a Gordon question that we'd have to ask him, and I will see if I can figure out where the break is from township and county, as far as road stuff. We deal with that with them often. Their right of way extends.
It's something that has to be addressed, because taking Rob's side here is, he's
Oh,
trying to set up, and if he's got those 2 to 3 vans and people, they'll park one bicycle here, one bicycle there, they're parked all over and they take their time, and he isn't gonna be able to get his stuff in.
Or out,
or out.
get it out.
And
And that's-
unfortunately, it's not just a group, all bicyclists seem to be very.
And I hate to make it pure business, but if I'm renting it and they're not paying a dime.
Well, absolutely,
Right,
that's
if
the
it's
reason
our
why you
property,
rent it.
then-
Right. Nope, I'm with you
I'm
on
with
that.
you. I think they should
Right,
pay
if
the
it's
rent
our
on that road
property, I
itself,
don't
but
think the township,
That's-
the board would have
Is
any
there a
problem
way
with that.
that we can, move it off?
Give me right
Yeah,
now, these.
rope it off, I mean, and I know they can just go around the rope or under the rope or whatever they choose to do, but
That's a
that,
possibility, but I'll check and see, I'll talk to Rob with the county and see what they're taking, and they may say, go ahead for this, we can do that, but I can't.
The sad part
Do it
is there's
without-
multiple, I'm not trying to kick them out and away from here, there's multiple options for them that wouldn't
Correct.
be in everybody's thorn in the basket. And when I've reasonably nicely offered options, I was told not so nicely, and that gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
The struggle I have is we've got, there was 13 display boats there last year, and the cheapest one was $200,000, and these guys are trying to move these boats. And then these bicyclists leaving their bikes up against them. And it's like, all because they show up and there's just asphalt. And when you ask, can you at least go down there or over there, or, nope, we do this every time, and it's like,
Especially because if they're touching somebody else's property, that's not okay.
Correct.
and it's
I
just,
mean, you're renting it, so that's not okay either, but my thing is, that's somebody else's property. You damage it, you're responsible for it.
I'm not sure they do it that way, but
I know, but that's,
it just, it makes it more cumbersome for all, and again, I'm not trying to say absolutely no bicycles that weekend, that's not my, if there's options, how about we work together and give us
Right.
your
So that's
nuance?
Correct.
And I would be willing to bet, here's the other thing, is they take, their umbrella spreads out. So now let's use your Fourth of July analogy. If you have people wanting to overflow park, they're in the way to just pull in with a boat and a boat trailer. And I don't know if they're there every Sunday, but
I've never seen it.
I've never seen them, so I'm pretty sure they're not there every Sunday. I think it's just.
I think it's only a couple times each summer,
Yeah,
but
And-
it
and-
comes
and
down
that
to
prob-
if someone reserves the property, they
Oh,
should
yeah.
have the right to use
You don't
it.
get to usurp it.
Correct.
But we need to know whose property that is.
Correct,
That's,
yeah, you can't
that's,
answer that
once we
question.
get that established,
Good,
then we
good
can,
statement.
we can work with possibly the county is to say, this is what we want to do this one day. Or they say it's yours, go ahead.
So it's just
And then-
Sunday that it's an issue.
Yes.
Well, because
The
they
last
don't do
two,
it on
because this is only the third event now.
Right, okay.
The last two,
But
in
it's,
a weird way, it's been the same Sunday the last two times, and it's been the same tour group. And then also, and maybe this is on me because it wasn't reserved correctly, but there's also been graduation parties in the pavilion and the tent on both Sundays in the past too. I don't know how they reserved, how they did preserve, but same type of thing, the 20 or 30 cars that come in for a graduation party and they just kind of set up in our area.
And they just come and use, I mean, they could have been asked to been moved. When you run into a situation like that, contact us, and they should be out of there because you have that space reserved. And
Now, I
I
was
guess,
told last
shame on me,
year
but
that,
I thought that having a tent put up around the pavilion with everything going on there
and
was
surrounded
as
by
much as
boats.
saying reserved. But again, in their side, they're seeing it as public property and we'll do what we want. And some
And-
people
Right.
will do what they
And
want.
unfortunately, that hasn't been, because Sunday is not an event for us.
Right.
Other than, you got 6 dealers that didn't finish until 10 or 11 o'clock on Saturday, they've got to come get all their stuff out of there, so we kind of need it clear to do that. And that's where it becomes an issue, is
so it is a rental day for you though,
100%,
because you're still on the property.
100%. And I was under the impression I had those days in my past rentals, whether I did it correctly or not.
Right,
No.
no, and when your stuff is
That's
set
where-
up,
but that's not on you.
Okay.
That's,
No, it's not on you,
you
and we
did
understand why
what
you're
you were told,
frustrated.
so.
That's where we're coming from. It's
We're
like,
trying to
Wow.
be consistent.
I do have a question, because I may have misheard you. What were the dates that you said, starting what date?
So, I mean, in a perfect world, it's Wednesday the 25th
Okay, that's
through
what,
Sunday the 29th.
okay, because I thought you said the 25th, and I thought,
before.
when they kept saying Thursday, I'm like, well, Wednesday, the 25th is a Wednesday. So it'd be Wednesday through Thursday
Because
that
to
you run.
get boats.
Through
in
Sunday,
and
sorry.
set- To get boats in and set, and
Mhm.
you can't have, because you can't have all 6 dealers show up at the same time.
Right, oh,
So,
absolutely.
You know, so that's where there's a little bit of an extension, and that's why, you know, again, that was a 1 fee in the past, and I'm okay with a daily fee. I just gotta sort it out and make sure we're all on the same page, and how does that work if the tent is up? Because I can't pay for the tent being up for 2 weeks on a daily fee, because that doesn't make sense for me to
No,
help
yeah,
with the.
but understand, if the tent stays up for 2 weeks and somebody
And
comes
someone may use it.
and puts their stuff up and you're not there, we're not gonna go around policing the tent.
That has never been an issue. It's,
Okay.
to Doug's point, if it's surrounded by boats and
Right,
banners
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything else, common sense would say you wouldn't go, but.
it's reserved, but people are people, people do what people do.
Alright. So let me, park sponsorship and donation, what does that look like? We're not in, don't get me wrong, if you wanna donate some money to me, feel free to. I'm not
To the park.
To the parks, I'm just kidding.
Cut that.
But we would rather have everything within our fees.
That's fine,
That way it's paid
that's fine.
to a fee instead of a donation to
Yeah, yeah.
wherever, and it comes to parks.
And then the boat launch, fees for the use of marina, they pull it in the next day and they put it back in, they have to pay.
100%.
There's
I
no-
never, my people
Okay.
are
I
absolutely,
just,
one of my rules is if there's any violation during, one of the things that I require is they all get a sticker on their boat that has a boat number, and it
Okay.
has my logo and everything else. I've worked with all the sheriff and the DNR, and my rule is, you come to me and say boat 3 had an incident, and I don't care what the incident is. It means they're out of it.
Okay,
Because they have to abide by all no wake, all speed, all drinking, all whatever. I don't need to know what the incident is, but everybody follows the state rules. So
okay,
same way with the launch rules.
okay, and then, within our new contract, we're putting a dumpster, specification, a porta john requirement,
Okay.
and, if you have an issue and you call somebody from the parks and they come up, you have to pay their salary plus the 7.65% for social security.
Okay.
if you
have an
need them
issue.
to come up
If you need them
for
to
an
come up
hour
for
or something.
anything. I mean, if you, and then you, obviously you have to have insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then number 8, this isn't even in our radar about, building a pavilion for 500 people.
Yeah, we just can't do that.
I don't even see that being put on our CPI.
The only reason I offered is I'm spending $6 to $7 grand a year in.
No, I get it, but
And I was trying to say, and I would continue to do that.
It sounds great,
on
we just
paper,
don't have the
we
facilities.
don't have
to
the
do it.
funds.
And I was just putting it out as an
Yeah.
offer that I would sign a 10-year contract into that fee.
Yeah, that would be great if we could make sure that we had the money to do it, but we don't, as you can tell from previous discussions that we've had. So,
All right, so,
is there anything else you,
any
No,
other
I just,
questions you have?
because I guess I haven't had exactly what the fees would
Yeah.
be and.
We're
the
getting to those
clarification.
fees. Hang on a minute.
that was it in these? Oh. You mean this one?
Andrew, is this one you typed up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I gave you the wrong thing.
Do you
Which,
want to take a look at this? I really don't want to read it to you because I'm a terrible reader.
which we were under the impression that it was just Friday and Saturday based on the fee that you paid last year.
Okay,
That was just your event day, so the wording might be a little off based on that.
so based on this, which sounds wonderful, that you would not be charging a fee for setup day or tear down.
Correct. Unless you held an event on that day,
No,
like you had a big
which I
thing,
wouldn't,
right,
but it would be,
that was the,
how do I say this nicely? I guess I want it counted as my area.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely,
Correct,
correct.
correct.
wait.
He's talking about setup and tear down.
I thought we were doing
It would be a
it
half,
was a smaller fee.
if,
It's not,
No.
you're not gonna get it,
It shows 0 provided if no events occur on this day.
we talked about, because in our contract, we already provided for a setup and takedown day. What we had talked about was that we would only charge him for those days if he has an event on those days. Because otherwise, everybody else has gotten a day to set up and take down.
Okay, so I guess where we're at is if we're gonna do the $1,000 per day then, is that where we're at?
That's what I'm reading.
That's what was voted on, yes.
Okay, for Friday and Saturday.
We're coming in Wednesday.
But now you're coming in Wednesday
Well, that's always what it's been. We were just
Oh, I thought it was
misinformed
Thursday. To Sunday.
based on previous.
So it was
In a perfect world, I might be able to make Thursday work, but I guess I don't have a good answer for that.
Right, I guess my question is, so you're talking coming in Wednesday for your setup day. Sunday would be your tear down day.
Correct.
So you'd be paying for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Well, that would be fine, but Thursday would not have an event.
But we can't rent it out because you're holding it.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
So I get, yeah, so that's that, but we still wouldn't be able to do anything with it on Thursday, even, or you would have to make Thursday your setup day, I would think.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, that's a full day that we can't rent it out. Nobody else can use it. The public can't use it. Nobody can do anything.
And how do I, to answer her question, if I try to help with the chamber to share the cost of the tent, how do we handle that if they put up the tent the week in advance? And
Well, the
it's
tent doesn't, that's not really anything
Yeah,
that
but
really matters.
But the tent is an issue because it's going to be there for a week.
Yeah.
And I may want to rent it, but I don't want that tent there. So, you have a catch-22 here.
That's.
So, that's my concern is you want to put the tent up whenever chambers put their, the 14th, I think theirs is, 14th and 15th.
No, there's
no,
the
no,
20th,
they,
21st.
theirs is the 20th through the 21st.
So it'll only be up
Oh,
for
they
3
changed
They
days.
changed it, they changed it from last year. Last year was the second week, this year's the third.
No, last year was the third, because.
Oh, but it was a weird year. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
Okay.
So last year, the
But
third week would have been the fourth.
I have an issue with that tent being up all, almost 2 weeks?
Well,
Week
they
and
would
a
put it, they
No,
theoretically
it'll be-
put it up Thursday and it would come down the following Sunday or Monday.
So it'd be
Which-
Thursday to Thursday is 7 days.
Yep.
And then you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's
10
10 days that you're having a tent up. That,
Yeah, no, the whole weekend though, it's taken by the weekend before,
they're only using it,
they're using it for that
2 days.
weekend.
yeah.
And
then it's
then
gonna
you've
start
got Monday, Tuesday, and then they're gonna start,
Wednesday.
yeah.
And then he comes in on Thursday.
Done.
You're gonna give, okay, so you want the tent down. You're gonna give the chamber 2 days to take the tent.
I'm
You're
not
gonna give him 2
necessarily
days to put the
saying,
tent up.
no, I'm not
That is one
necessarily
day.
saying.
And unfortunately, it doubles the cost for the chamber.
And it is 1 day.
I wouldn't worry about the tent.
The tent's a non-factor.
Yeah, I know.
That's the way I look at it.
And if someone wants to have their thing under the tent during those days, they're more than welcome.
Yeah, there was people that had lunch under it last year.
I thought my copy-
And with the tent there, you can't. Right.
But you say you can't hurt the tent. But if nobody's responsible for the tent for those 3 days and somebody gets hurt, who's gonna be liable for that? Is that gonna be us? Is that gonna be the chambers? Is that gonna be the township? That's my concern. Doesn't a canopy have to have stakes?
They do have stakes on it.
And it does have stakes on it. So
You know what I'm
somebody could
saying?
trip, I get it, I totally get it.
It does, I didn't look at it, that
Well,
way. To me, it was
And-
just sitting
So,
there.
so is this something that the chamber and I then
Should
share?
you discuss?
You want to
Yes,
discuss
absolutely.
it?
Absolutely, because we are not gonna be on the hook
And
if somebody gets hurt when those 3 days are, not being used by anybody. It's
Well, I
not gonna
think
be
that would
us.
just have to come into a
If I
contract.
might add here,
Sure.
he's gonna have insurance. So if someone got hurt there, the insurance is gonna come into it.
Not, and I guess
But
when-
it's
there's-
gonna
when
cost
does
me more
insurance
money, but I
start?
can
Yeah.
extend the days of my insurance.
Yeah, he would have to do that, because if he's only gonna have insurance for the days he's renting it, those 3 days are up in the air.
And the other thing too is, say a storm came through and something happened to the tent when it wasn't insured by you.
It's a car.
It was on our property, they could definitely come back and say that the township is on the hook.
But, okay, I'm trying to look at all potential negative aspects. So now if we go to court and I've insured this
Oh,
for
wait a
9
minute, why are we
days.
going forward?
Well, he's doing it.
I just don't know.
Yep, and I've insured this for 9 days, but I didn't pay a lease on your property fee for 9 days. How does that work out?
I
Correct.
have no idea. But I
Do you
just,
see what I'm saying?
yeah, but somebody has to insure,
I
Any
think at that
input?
point, we're both liable.
You have any
and they're gonna
input,
sue
Judy?
both of us.
The liability insurance, if you're covered for 9 days, I would defer to them.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
The liability insurance, if you're covered for 9 days, he would defer, you would
I
defer
would
to
defer to
them.
what, so you're saying that you are buying liability insurance for 9 days or for the 4 days?
Well, they're saying that they're concerned about the tent being out
Yeah.
when I'm not using it
Well, we
and
know
who's
it's
liable.
Right, yes, and that's a valid concern.
Sure, but I guess I've spent my life in power sports, so it's unfortunately a litigious community. And I look at all options, and if I put myself in the jury box, wait a minute, you had a liability for 9 days, but you only rented for 2 or 3. Where's the gap here? Who's that, when there's 2 contracts that don't line up, that would be awkward.
That's as simple as stroke of pen,
$10
though.
and
We make your
That's
rental
just what I
agreement.
was gonna
We
say.
can
is
rent it
maybe we-
for,
That's,
No.
Huh?
We can't be responsible.
no,
no, we
no,
can
no.
rent it for him for the next couple days for a lower price.
For the,
like, for those days, we rent it for $10.
So that way his
So that
liability
way
insurance
we're not
would
liable.
cover
That's why I
it.
say it's as simple as a stroke of a pen. We just,
Yeah,
for
it's-
whatever his rental agreement is, we just make the dates from this date.
This
Or,
date,
Right,
to
or-
that.
Because
or
the rental
officially set up
agreement-
days are 5 days long.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or this is the
It just
total
has to be-
amount, you
that's
have
all
that
just
property
divided.
from the date of this date to this date. So it'd be Monday.
So that the
through Sunday.
liability insurance would cover it, cause he's still,
And obviously, I
renting
can
it,
work with the chamber
but he's
because
not.
the
Yeah.
same type of, I don't have a problem shouldering it.
Right.
If the chamber leaves Sunday, shouldering it from there until the next.
Well, it's just
Sunday.
semantics.
It's just semantics. It's just, the whole reason we share the tent, it's a monster savings to the chamber.
well, I get that, but
Okay,
it's, you know, we gotta cover our butts too.
No,
And that's,
I-
as long as we're renting it to him, he would be under that contract, which holds him liable for anything.
Right, no, I get it,
Or
Yeah, when
his
we put your
liability.
dates of your event in there and we add in the days, the bottom does not say it's per day, it says it's X number of dollars. So that then covers you for all
You
those.
you don't have this, that's.
And my other thought to that is maybe we, cause I'm in business too, you say $0 for setup, I say change that to 50.
yeah, I,
yeah,
Yeah,
no, I agree.
And I say, change it for me,
You could- you
from
could
Monday
approve
on,
that
is set up
contract.
for $50 a day.
we're not gonna sign.
That would be very,
And then on my event days, Friday and Saturday, is $1,000 a day.
Mhm.
So I pay $50 a day per setup.
Yep.
From Monday on. And tear down is $50 a day, and my event days are $1,000 a day.
No, okay,
Is this a contract specifically for him, or is it a
No,
boilerplate that
it's-
you're gonna use for
no,
everybody?
It's not a blanket.
It's what?
Well,
it's gonna be specifically for him, when we do commercials, we're doing it on a,
everyone's gonna be
Okay,
handled separately.
has Rob looked at this and gave his blessing? Or
I
the
can't hear you,
attorney?
Dawn.
who?
Well,
Our
the thing
attorney-
is, we're not entering into this agreement. This is just the framework we believe. We would be negotiating in bad faith with him if we don't have a framework for at least what we want. It's not we're not gonna
All right,
sign
so-
to this
so what
contract
is it?
today,
So-
is my point.
Event costs
Okay.
$1,000.
Yeah, because we
Well,
don't,
Two
we
years.
have an attorney for that.
Correct, correct.
Personally, I think you could
Additional
agree
costs
to it
would
with
be
the stipulations that legal look at it
Set
to
up
make sure
and
everything
tear
is covered.
Right, we could do that.
Well,
Right.
I don't know,
What's that?
I don't think
I
an
say
agreement.
we could
Because I
give
understood
him a
that
tentative
you-
agreement, barring that legal look at everything that
Yeah,
we've done.
then Sunday would be a carry-on day.
Well, we can approve this at any
You
time.
can, you can, no, you don't give a tentative agreement. You can work through this and then you give it to Rob and he looks it over and blesses it or makes changes.
So my thing is, what's the difference if we have it in writing or we're just, here, give it
Because
back,
it's a
I'll tell you what
contract.
our
Anytime you
ideas are.
sign, you shake a hand, it's a contract.
It's not a contract
No,
unless,
yes, it is. It is.
how is it legally binding?
Because you are signing a document.
No,
That
we're not
has words
signing
on it.
anything.
We're not
We're not
signing
signing
anything,
anything.
we're just working this out. All right, if we did this, event per day, about.
So-
Everybody's
why are
saying
we-
the same thing here, different way.
Yeah.
We wanna make an agreement, work out the agreement with them,
Work out the word.
and then we're gonna
Right,
send it
and
to
then
legal,
go to legal.
pending legal's approval.
Right, that's what we're saying, we're not
Nothing is
signing
being
a
signed today.
contract, we're just trying to work out the details with him,
Okay.
then send it to legal, make sure that that's good.
Do we have to send every contract to legal?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Unless you make a
Yes.
uniform contract.
You mean
that applies.
every application has to go to legal?
Well, you should have a blanket contract and you're doing something special for just this instance.
So any
It should be
commercial
boilerplate.
contract needs to go.
Yes.
Yeah, when we do the
yes.
boat races, it's a whole separate, because we're looking at different things.
Okay.
Right,
This is what I mean.
so,
Right,
but
so,
otherwise, your standard
You're
rental, no, you're gonna have a boilerplate and I think we already have it. That's what they're looking at. But this is not a
So
standard
I
rental.
need to bring up a question that she asked. If this is an individual contract just for me, how do I say this nicely?
Just cover yourself.
How am I assured that this doesn't change year to year? And how am I assured that I guess, in a nutshell, I'm being treated fairly? Because this isn't truly a cash grab, it's an attempt to try to bring a huge event to the community.
right, and that's obviously, at the time, we could look at, we're not signing into anything today. And that's,
But
the-
my point is, if it changed
Yes. I see
from
your
last
point.
year to this year,
What is your guarantee that it won't change then next year,
and if that's the case, then I might as well rip the Band-Aid off the
that you're done right now?
No, I agree with you, I understand. I think the problem was that the parks didn't take care of it last year. And that was the problem.
That's why it's changing.
It didn't come through parks last year.
And I think we had a brief discussion in a corner office that was the same corner office a year ago, but
Correct.
Right, no, I totally understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
so I guess if I can't leave with a handshake contract,
You can.
I need to at least leave with a handshake that if we all
Sure.
kind of agree on dollars, that it's not gonna change in the future.
Well, why don't we write down what we believe is a fair and work it out together? If you agree, we agree, and then we can send it and let you know whether that works.
Well, the only thing I have to say about, as far as not changing in the future, I guess it depends on how far in the future. So if we have a contract, okay, so next year it might be the same, and maybe in 2 years, but in 5 years, things are going to go up.
It might
Then
even
it might
change next
change.
year
I'm sorry?
with inflation and everything else that's going on.
The problem is nothing is for sure, but
And my struggle was is.
I know. And we really wanted,
People.
to make it
well, but,
more concrete
and
and
you're
more.
looking at it from our point of view. If you look at it from your point of view, the economy tanks next year, and you're now on the hook for $1,000. How does that work from your point of view?
That's a risk I need to take.
He's not entering into this without any risks to himself.
Well,
He's not entering into anything right now.
Okay, so can we agree to try and work out the application, work out the prices and work out everything?
It's not gonna be worked out tonight.
I'm not saying it has to go
Just so
through.
you know.
What I'm saying is we need to agree on what we all believe is the right thing for him and us, and then we can send it to legal. And then as soon as they say it's fine, then we can get back to you.
So I guess here's my, what do you,
That's where I'm at.
so it's not gonna be worked out as far as signing the contract, but can we come
It can
to
be worked
an
out.
agreement?
Well, not an agreement,
No,
but just like,
You can't come up with an agreement
dis-
without,
Well, of course we can.
No,
Just-
without the attorney seeing it.
Yes, we can.
can we,
We can write it all down, agree on what we think works, and then send it to them.
Pending legal
We're not
approval.
signing anything.
Pending legal.
right, that's what we,
Right.
that's,
Right, so we can work it all out right now.
The semantics can be
Yes.
sorted out from legal
Yes,
jargon.
absolutely.
The dollar amount can be agreed upon
Absolutely.
amongst our.
Well, we don't even have to necessarily call it agreed upon. We have a discussion about the conversation, or about the
Yeah,
price
we're not
you're willing
signing
to
it.
pay and what we
We were-
want.
and as
Write
long
down
as,
what we need.
The way we're saying it with
As long
agreement
as-
is what's making it
right,
confusing.
correct, as long as legal says it's good. My reasoning for bringing that up is he just said, I don't know if everybody heard, if we can't come to some kind of
Right.
possible tentative agreement pending legal, it's a moot point because he's just not going to do it, period.
I think we have a discussion about
So-
what he's willing to pay, what we're wanting,
Right.
and what days he wants it, all of that. We can have a discussion about that and then send it off to legal when we.
I mean, I have no problem having the tent put up Thursday and me paying setup day, or having Thursday be setup day, Friday and Saturday the event, and tear down day Sunday. By me doing that, cost the chamber $5,000. And that's pretty silly money.
Well, then maybe the chamber needs to pay the extra $50.
I have no problem
But
paying
he's
that
willing
myself.
to do that,
Oh, I have no
Well,
problem with it.
covering,
I
having
just,
insurance
I
covering
just
that
think
whole
it's
time.
silly to have somebody come in and
Yeah.
install a tent,
I
tear a tent down.
I know that.
Because that's their fees, that's where all the labor is, tear that,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not easy, clean it and fold it, and so the whole reason it's up, and I have no problem putting insurance on a timestamp and calling setup days $50 days, because I think that sounds better legally, because there's a money
Okay.
exchange, and
So basically, the amount that we're
Right, so
talking about.
this is what I have.
Okay.
Okay, we have $1,000 per day for 2 days.
Okay. Friday and Saturday.
So that's Friday,
And that's
And
when, and those are the days that there's an actual event.
and that was our actual events. Okay, then we have additional cost, which is $50 for setup and tear down, or whatever you choose to call it,
Per day.
per day. And those are for the 3 days prior.
And Sunday.
So let's go. So we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Sunday is tear down, so that's
Thursday
So it'd be
and
five,
Sunday.
it would be 5.
5 days at $50, which is,
Okay, so that's,
So you're talking 2250.
Plus the, but the deposit.
is part of.
oh, you
The
already
deposit
have
would
it.
be portion off that, right?
And at that point, you've rented it for every day that the tent would be set up, with the chamber covered. Both of you have liability insurance, so isn't it a moot point?
Exactly.
Isn't
That-
what a moot point?
Calling legal, because we've already had him look at our contract, and he says as long
No,
as we
he
have
hasn't.
liability insurance. So that means, okay, then that means for all these years, everything that we've done, we have not been covered.
Doug, can I back you up a bit?
He hasn't
We
looked
have
at that
not
contract.
had, but
I'm
If you look-
talking to them
No,
back
we're
here
talking about
the legal
previous.
questions.
Right,
And I
right.
get your
That's what she
point.
means, what he means is legal hasn't
This-
looked at the
This has
contract.
not been looked at. The rental agreement has
Okay.
been looked at.
What he's saying is it's never been looked at.
Right.
All in the years forward,
Right.
we've never had that issue.
We've never been
I
covered.
see.
I
If
can't
what you're
speak to
saying
that.
is true, then we have never, because all we've ever asked for is liability insurance for the dates of the event. We have just lengthened his event. We've rented him, even though it's for a lesser amount, we have rented him our space for 10 days, or between the two events for 10 days. Each one of them carrying liability insurance, which they give us copies of. Why is this
That
any
should take care of
different
it.
than the boat races were before, than old fashioned days were before, then Winterfest is going to be in another couple weeks? Why is it any different?
So he's got temporary liability insurance?
Yes, he has to have liability
Yes.
insurance.
Yeah.
He will have
Usually
that throughout the
liability
entire,
insurance
I can't listen to both people at once.
so why do we need Rob's blessing if we are requiring him to get insurance to cover what he's renting.
As long
We
as
need
you,
Rob's, sorry,
You-
yes.
the board had, the Parks Commission earlier in the meeting stated that they wanted to review the contract. They submitted a contract to legal gave their input, it wasn't finalized.
Correct.
That's the issue.
Well,
Until the Parks Commission approves the final contract language in it, it really can't be signed. So,
But
what
then, we still have a contract in place before that, the one that we've been using all year long, in the years past, so it's not like we don't have a contract.
that's an agreement,
That's it.
it open, there's a significant difference between what has been used in the past and what
Everything
you
else
submitted
is-
to legal.
Semantics.
now we
Um,
can,
there's-
now that we, sorry,
There's no hold harmless. In the previous version, there are many things missing from the previous version.
Hold on.
But again, the Parks Commission submitted a contract that you worked very hard on to legal. Legal felt it was well fleshed out. He made minor changes to it, sent it back for the Parks Commission to review and approve. That part hasn't been done. Earlier in the meeting, I think the discussion was that you needed to review it.
so for the, legal was not sent the framework which he has, that's not being approved tonight, just to make sure we don't end up on a different footing. The thing legal has right now is not a contract, it is just a policy.
It's a memorandum of understanding.
Correct, it's
We
a
are on the
policy.
same page.
Commercial
The,
parks facility reservation policy.
the policy
All
that
that
legal
is
looked at
policy.
required that we have a separate contract with each, required that we have a separate contract with each, what would be the correct term? Commercial renter. The wording for, I don't know how to word this correctly.
You had I think what you submitted to legal is a contract.
It's not a contract, it's a policy. Like, it literally says policy. There's nowhere he can sign to that, there's nowhere,
Well, what came back from legal had signatures on it.
okay,
So the commission needs to come back and
right.
bless or change.
Okay,
Well, and my vote would be, not as a two-time guy, my vote would be that contract needs to be written such that all the dollar amounts are left blank. So it becomes a blank contract that you fill in my name and dollar amounts and it gets signed and it's a contract that applies to all.
The contract would be, if he signs to that rental agreement, he's not signing to what is required throughout the rest of the county. The contract, which is
But on-
indemnification,
On here,
the stuff we
we
missed.
put,
I can show you.
this is our first time doing this. so-
Can I just, can I see that?
The confusion I had was I thought that everybody was hung up on the insurance. And
Well, I was hung up on.
we're covered the way we had done it before. As long as you
Because of
have
how you
liability
worded
for the
it.
dates that it's being used, and we say we're running it to the insurance part, it's fine. Now, as far as, I see what she's saying, until we get our contract back, we really can't ask you to sign it until we, because we
And I
revised
certainly
it.
don't want to sign anything that isn't of.
okay, but we can hash out details now.
Correct, and at this point, we can just arrive at the fact that
Have a discussion on details that we all hope to pursue.
this is, as far as we know at this point, this is what it's gonna be, and unless something changes.
Unless he
with
comes
legal-
And in
back.
a perfect world, I
Yes.
would love to be able to leave here. I won't post it publicly just until you have a contract that's not logical. But I would love to leave here knowing that I have the date, I have the agreement, and I have the ability to go forward with.
If we create it.
And that's the whole goal. And
You create
all of your adjustments, I'm good with the adjustments. I just I also think you understand some of my little bit of concerns of that.
Oh, yes.
It's nicely, if I'm paying
Oh, yeah.
this, then I can want it.
So,
The one thing that we touched on that I just wanna expound on is porta potty requirement and dumpster requirement are on me, not included in the.
Yes.
Okay.
No, they're on you.
Yeah.
And it's,
And the dumpster issue is depending on, I don't know, do you serve food? Do you, I mean, what,
Food is
what
served there.
so, I mean, if you can get rid of it all and it's gone, then that's,
And I do wanna ask that as a question, has there ever been an issue when I've left as far as trash or anything?
Say that again,
Has
please.
there ever been an issue when I've left as far as trash or any of that? Is that
When
something?
you have left trash,
I don't believe so,
I don't,
but this is all building into.
Totally understand, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why I say the dumpster, because some events create no garbage, you know what I mean?
others just
And
leave it on
others-
the ground.
But as far as the bathrooms, that's pretty much a set and fast. 250 people is 1, 5, 2. That was given to us by our Portage County guy, and he said that's sanitary law. So,
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
well, are we okay on the dates, first of all?
does
It's
anybody
the,
want to make a motion?
it is
That
the
is
only
dates, that's
day,
right.
it's the only year that this is gonna happen going into 2032, when I looked.
It's
a
a full year.
Unfortunately, it's a freaked out year. I mean, I don't know, do we wanna vote? What do you wanna do?
Well, I mean, if he wants a commitment for those dates, there has to be a motion made. It has, actually, we will take a vote to verify.
Okay.
But
Well, why don't we take a motion? I make a motion that we vote on whether or not this weekend is appropriate for this race,
so your motion is dates
for this event.
Who's making the
for
I am.
June 25th through the 29th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's the only thing we can make a motion on right now. Does that sound good?
Well, the only reason why I'm saying that is because if it doesn't pass, then everything else is moot.
Right, exactly. So Gail makes the motion, does anybody second it?
What are the dates?
The 25th, no, we gotta back it up. We got those three, so what is it?
23rd.
23rd through the 29th. Okay, Gail made the motion, does anybody want to second it?
I will second that.
We'll do a roll call, just to be on the safe side, Stacy.
Yes.
And before we do that,
Go ahead.
I've got one other concern that I'd like to throw in there, and it doesn't pertain to this year, but Rob mentioned it briefly, and I totally agree with him on it. The pricing we're talking about is for this year, but he wants some guarantee that it isn't gonna double next year, which is only fair to a business. And that needs to go into a final contract. I think that you're not going to get
And I agree
outrageous.
with you.
Meaning,
I
can
don't-
we
I
do
don't
a
wanna-
contract for 4 years or a 3
No,
year?
no,
Can you
we're
do
not
that?
doing a 4-year.
No,
Okay.
but we can say, we'll fix the price for this year and next year and negotiate after that.
Okay.
Because it gives them the time to plan for future events, because as soon as this event's
No,
done, he's planning
Wait,
for 26.
I think that shouldn't be a part of the motion that was previously made. That
Well, we
should-
need to
we need
finish
to
the
make sure
motion.
that.
No, we're
I'm
just
saying
doing the
it needs to
dates.
be in the final
Okay, I was
contract.
just making sure.
Yeah, no, we're just doing the dates, the 23rd through the 29th. Gail made the motion, Pat second. I'm doing a roll call. Stacy?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes,
Beth? Yes. Pat?
Yes,
Okay, motion has been approved. Your dates are approved. We want to continue to work with you to iron out this contract.
Okay, so
Okay.
can we talk about what prices are good, what works, fill out the contract,
We can't fill out a contract.
fill out the
understand
application with the amounts, and then we can send it to legal or whatever we need to do. But he needs an understanding as to what we're gonna agree on at this point, and I think that's fair. But
I
that's,
got that. I think we did that already.
Yeah, she wrote it
Well,
down.
we have to make the motion, you can't.
Well, we don't,
You can't put in the
We
form of the
can't
motion because it's not
Until
a.
legal
we're not agreeing
approves
to
it.
anything.
so are we agreeing that the
We're not.
2250 sounds good to you, sounds good to us? And if that's the fact, then we can work on that, understanding that that sounds like a good price. If you're good with that, we wouldn't bunch it up on it
The only other
unless
thing-
there's a reason. why.
The only other thing that I would push for is to have some semblance of a guesstimated timeline that I can give the deposit, which the deposit then would be part of the application and or the contract. Only because to Pat's point, kind of, I'm already almost 30 days behind, to start the process of promoting. So I kind of need to be able to concretely tell the world that it's happening these days, They don't need to know dollars, because that's a new issue, but having the dates, that's wonderful, but I also, when are we gonna have a contract? I can't wait till March 1st.
Can we agree that we'll have it done by February 1?
We can try, but it's up to the attorney on when it's done.
All right. I don't know why. If you look at it,
I agree with you on that.
I
There's
just-
no reason we can't go through, plug in the figures and stuff, send it to the attorney and have them sign off.
yeah, it's not, it's just,
It's,
Well, so we all hope that happens. If it doesn't happen for attorney reasons, I'm not gonna hold you guys up. I want
and
you
if
to
we
know
get,
there's a
how,
little urgency on my
if
end.
we,
No, I get it.
if we get this back from the attorney, say tomorrow,
Giddy up.
we can have a special meeting and we can get this done. Because
So
we want it
next-
done just as fast as you can.
Next question, this is a clear question. Can I just show up, write a deposit check, sign, and leave it with?
the
Actually,
front office.
Yeah, I don't
That's what
know.
I'm saying, because it should theoretically be an application or whatever, and it's already been approved in the meeting.
Well, if we were to approve the contract, I believe you would have to,
You'd have to come in and sign.
he would have to come in and sign it and
I
pay
got no
the
problem
fee.
doing that.
I guess the question is, does he have to be at a special, at a
A
meeting?
special
to
You wouldn't need,
agree
because
to
they
something?
would need together.
We would need to have a
So
special
the board would have to approve it, but would he be?
No,
No,
he
you
doesn't
wouldn't
have to
need-
come.
but we would
That could
still
all-
have to
that's-
approve it.
Yeah, so then, in
Before.
theory, I see it in an email, I come up and sign for it live, leave the deposit check, and we're.
Because we would have to have a special meeting to okay the,
And the last question, because you brought it up, how do I reach the GPA folks to discuss the thing? Is
Oh,
that
that's
separate than the group I met with last year?
You met with them last year, that is correct.
Done.
So it's not separate.
So Dawn Gardner is the one that's in charge of it, but she's at the bank, though,
Yep.
correct?
Yep,
Yes.
yep, yep.
I
She's the president. of this one.
I looked to see when their next meeting was.
Who's next meeting?
DDA.
CDA.
GDA is, next meeting is the 20th of this month.
Is that Tuesday again?
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
no, I think it was
There's on Monday and.
20th is a Monday.
The library is not open, so we need to have Trudy show up to unlock the doors.
You said January 20th is our next meeting?
That's a
The
Monday.
GDA.
I don't show it on the calendar. I don't show it at all,
well, you'll just have to call her and find out when the meeting is.
because I looked at it.
I'm sure Pat, right?
Normally it would be,
We're here for everyone.
We're guessing the 20th, but it's not on the calendar, so I
And I can
cannot.
reach out, I've got Dawn's
So
direct
just say like
contact.
you just call
I'll reach
Dawn.
out to her.
Oh, you got her number? That's just bring it down.
All right,
Are you okay with this?
Are you?
we just wanna, we don't wanna make things difficult, but we're taking over and we just wanna make sure that everything's not clear as mud. We wanna make sure that things are, you know, the money goes where it's supposed to go, that times are done the right way, and
We appreciate you coming out.
thank you so much. Thank you, Alyssa, as we know.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a nap.
I know.
Right now, we're gonna be talking about.
Thanks, we'll get back to this.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you again.
You're
welcome.
You guys.
Do we want to pursue the, I'm on number 2, the grants. Do we want to go back into the DNR and pursue the one that was denied? Is my question. That's all I want to know. Do we want to pursue that one, or do we want to totally look for a different one?
For a trust fund grant, is that what you're talking about? DNR
I'm
trust
sorry?
fund? DNR trust fund grant? Is that
Whatever.
the grant you're talking about?
Is
The
that
one that was denied that,
That's
Bob
what
Kramer
Bobby
put in.
went through, yeah.
Okay, so do we want to try to do that again? I say yes.
yes, for the bathrooms.
For the bathrooms.
Now,
Mhm.
can you tell us what they, oh. We're not gonna talk about that. Okay.
I'm gonna pull out, I'm going to try to, see if I can pull the one on mine, and then when we have, number 3 is just a reminder that Kelsey on 1/9 is having a grant workshop for us,
So maybe we can pull it out at that time and see what's wrong with
and
them.
see what, if we can
I'm good with that.
do that. Is that okay, everybody?
Yeah, I can do
This
this.
is just really a
I'm good.
discussion. Next month, I would like to invite Patty, and I'm not sure of her last name, from Big
Anderson,
Anderson. Patty and, from Big Bear Adventures and Northeast Outdoors.
Richard Lincoln.
Richard Lincoln.
Richard. Lincoln. So we can kind of, last year they used the, Devo Beach, Lincoln used the Devo Beach, and Big Bear Adventure used the Marina Park. They only used it 3 times, so we want to see what they're doing and why they're doing it, and why they're not contacting. So that I'm gonna invite them. Does anybody have this Richard Link's number?
I can get in contact with her.
Or I can, where's at the school.
All right, will you get in and invite them to the next meeting, please?
Yes.
All right, and I'll go over and talk to Patty. All right, the last item I have is, and this is just a suggestion, I'm not telling you guys what to do, but I think it would be wise if y'all change your emails to a non-private. So our stuff is not going in, because if we get FOIA, they can come take your computer and, go through it. So you might want to think
Just
about
give an email
changing
address,
just an email address for her.
Can't remember another one?
You're gonna have 3?
And you don't have to do it.
Private.
That's totally up to you guys.
Well, it
Pat
protects you.
changed his,
I will
I've
probably do
changed
mine this
mine.
weekend.
and I'm going to submit mine and Pat's to the township tomorrow. Okay, any public comments?
Any public comments?
Yes, I have one. Doug, you and I talked about switching the basketball to skateboard months ago. I
correct.
think that's a great idea.
I think
I
it is.
think it needs to be done.
Yeah,
It solves the problem that we have.
it really does. I'd love to know how much that would be to do it.
Well, I can have those numbers shortly.
Yeah, that'd be great if we could get those numbers.
Okay, any board comments? No? Motion to
In my
adjourn.
board or in my public? One of the two.
I'll make
Oh,
a
you
motion.
have a public comment?
I'm just Yes.
Oh, wait, we need to back up, excuse me. I was just handed this bill, I wanna add it to new business on number 6, if we could, everybody take a look at this and we can get this processed and get it paid. We'll start with Doug.
It got put in the wrong, mailbox,
Oh,
that's
now
why
it's
Doug
Carla?
didn't get it.
Wash the car 2 times, wash the truck twice, and it costs $175.
I can only tell you what they gave me.
Holy goodness.
And this,
Did they wash it by hand for you?
no,
Hopefully they wash the Zamboni for that.
it's 2 days that we washed the car. One was for $2 and one was for $7. And they're giving us a previous balance of $175.
And 35 cents.
Is that just for
Okay.
us or is that for other vehicles in the township?
Could they be for the police?
It doesn't even tell when these were
Who's it
occurred.
from, Doug?
I have not used a Mallory's car wash thing in 5 years.
Okay.
So if he hasn't billed us for 5 years and is looking for his money back, sorry.
Or it's somebody
You know what I mean?
else's?
I think
Does
we
that
need
sound
to
right?
research that a little bit more before we.
I just, now that we have a new truck, I went out and reactivated, we used to have cards, and I said, don't even have cards anymore, we used to have them. Oh, yeah, you got an account here, and he kind of laughed and said, oh, there's still something on there, and I said, well, I know it's been 5 years. And he, and just, you're gonna bill us for a 5-year-old bill that you haven't collected? I mean, I wanna wash the truck, but not that bad. So I wouldn't pay this, I think, do I go out and talk to him, or does somebody else want to, I mean, that to me is ridiculous.
Well, so you
I
guys-
think Doug needs to go up and talk to Dan.
Yeah, I will, because I don't understand that at all. I mean, if you haven't collected the debt in 5 years, you write it off.
So we're going
Or
to table
tables.
that bill. Motion to adjourn.
Well,
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the past at the rink, we have had volunteers. And I brought this to the old board, and they backed down. Volunteers basically volunteer to Zamboni the ice for their own personal use. They play hockey late at night. They Zamboni right before they play. They do not Zamboni after they're done. So in the morning, we come in and run the Zamboni. They turn the lights on longer than they're scheduled to go on. They'll stay till midnight, 1 o'clock, because they have access. So I've changed all the locks on everything. And I'm no longer going to use any volunteers. Just wanted to make it aware, because to me, everything is putting unneeded time on a machine that we don't need to do. We're paying for propane,
For the lights.
for the lights, for all these different things for nothing back.
Okay.
So,
Do we need to make a motion on that, or?
no, I'm just making you aware of what I did.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
in the past, they came in and complained that I was overruled.
Okay.
Because I tried to get it.
Well, if they're wasting
Mhm.
our taxpayer
Well, I
money,
mean,
that's not.
I would have no problem with it if we were doing the true volunteering and coming, when you're done, Zamboni it so that I don't have to do it in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's, and when you're done, take the nets off the ice. I mean, you're
Oh,
supposed to
absolutely.
be helping me, and they don't. So,
Well, then why are they allowed to do it still then if they
They're
don't
not-
do this?
We just said,
It's not,
Black
not
that all
gonna
out.
be known. Oh.
I have changed all of
Okay, I was gonna say,
Okay. You're done.
all right.
Are we done then?
them. Now, that's just, I want to make you aware that I did that because if somebody says something.
Okay, can we motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I think we wanna stay here.
Okay,
don't
did you
wanna
make
go
the
home.
motion?
I made a motion to.
I'll second Stacy will second the motion.
All right, sorry,
Pat. I'll remember to do that.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right.
Thirty comes later. Wanna go home.